Hey you all, this is Brian, and you are watching the Dark Age channel.
Have you ever thought about how certain individuals managed to amass wealth during the Great Depression, which is arguably one of America's most challenging eras? It gets me thinking, if they could get rich back then, is it possible for us to do some of the things they did and get rich in today's tough times too? When we think of the Great Depression, images of long breadlines, widespread unemployment, and economic chaos immediately pop into our minds. It was the 1930s, and America was in a serious financial funk. The economy had taken a nosedive, and things looked pretty grim. Unemployment was sky high, and the nation's GDP had plummeted. For many, it was a daily struggle just to put food on the table. But here's the twist. Not everyone struggled. Believe it or not, some folks weren't just scraping by. They were actually stacking up serious cash during this period. Sounds almost impossible, right? Well, stick around because we're about to unravel this mystery. We're going deep into the strategies some savvy individuals used to turn a national crisis into a personal financial boom. These tips can come in handy in today's world. So, let's get started and uncover these hidden gems from the past. What was the Great Depression like? The Great Depression wasn't just any old rough patch. It's like the mother of all economic downturns. Businesses were closing left and right, and the stock market had basically taken a nosedive off a cliff. Now let's talk numbers because they were wild. Unemployment, it skyrocketed to over 20%. Imagine 1 in every 5 people you know just out of work. And the country's GDP, it plunged by more than 30%. That's a huge chunk of the economy just gone. People were struggling big time, trying to make ends meet in an economy that seemed to have hit rock bottom. But here's where it gets really interesting. Despite all this chaos, some folks weren't just surviving, they were thriving. Yeah, you heard that right. Amidst one of the darkest times in our nation's history, some people were figuring out ways to create wealth. Wealth creation during the Depression. So let's get to the nitty-gritty of what seems almost like a paradox: getting rich during the Great Depression. Sounds crazy, but it actually happened. There's this old saying, the rich get richer, and it was as true then as it is now, even in the thick of the Depression. Wondering how to get ahead financially if we hit another depression? Here's the key takeaway. Steer clear of getting bogged down in credit card debt and start building up your cash reserves. The real danger zone is not having enough cash on hand when the economy takes a nosedive, especially if you're caught up in making hefty debt payments every month. Think about it this way. When real estate prices plummet, that's your golden ticket to buying property. The value's almost guaranteed to bounce back after a few years. The same logic applies to stocks. But here's the catch. You need cash in your pocket to make these moves. Here's a bit of déjà vu. Too many people today are stuck in a similar bind as folks were during the Great Depression, overwhelmed with debts like credit card bills, car payments, and personal loans. They're barely managing the minimum payments. Now let's talk about making some money if we hit a rough patch with another Great Depression. Keep in mind, even if you're not rolling in dough during tough economic times, there are still plenty of ways to bring in some cash or barter to keep yourself going. Let's dive into some options. Number 1, hunting wild game. If you know your way around the woods and are handy with a rifle or bow, this could be a solid path for you. When the economy hits a rough patch, people still need to eat, and meat is always on the menu. This is where your hunting skills come into play. Picture this. You're out in the wilderness, tracking down games. Once you've made your catch, you can butcher the meat and sell it. There's a steady demand for fresh, locally sourced meat, and people are often willing to pay a premium for it, especially when it's harder to come by in stores during tough times. But here's a bonus. It's not just about the meat. Those furs and hides you get from your hunting trips, they're valuable too. You can sell them for extra cash. Whether it's for crafting, clothing, or decoration, there's a market for hides and furs. So if you've got the skills and the necessary permits, hunting can be a practical way to bring in some income. It taps into that basic need for food and offers something a little extra from the fur and hides, making it a smart option when the economy's in a slump. Number 2, chopping and selling firewood. There are plenty of people out there with wood stoves or fireplaces in their homes, and they're always going to need a steady supply of firewood to keep things cozy. Here's the deal. You roll up your sleeves, get out there with your axe or chainsaw, and start turning those trees into neatly chopped firewood. It's a bit of work, sure, but it's also a great way to get some exercise and fresh air. Plus, you're literally turning a natural resource into cold, hard cash. And the market for firewood? It's pretty steady. Whether it's for heating or maybe just for the ambiance of a nice fire, people are always looking to buy. So, if you've got the trees and the muscle, selling firewood could be a solid move to make some extra money when the economy's not doing so great. Number 3. Foraging and selling berries. Let's venture into the world of foraging and selling berries. These little gems are more than just a tasty snack. They can be a source of income or a great bartering tool. Berries are always popular because of their versatility in all sorts of recipes. But before you fill your basket, there's a catch. It's super important to know your berries. Not all of them are friendly for the dinner table. Some can be downright dangerous. So, do a little homework first. Figure out which berries are safe to eat and which ones to steer clear of. Once you've got that sorted, you're all set. Collect those berries and bring them to market or trade them within your community. It's a natural, fun, and rewarding way to make a little extra dough, especially when the economy's tight. Number 4. Selling eggs. Here's the thing about eggs. They're packed with protein, versatile for meals, and generally loved by everyone. They're always in demand, recession or not. Imagine this. Times are tough, wallets are tight, but breakfast, lunch, and dinner still need to be on the table. Eggs to the rescue. They're affordable, nutritious, and let's be real, who doesn't love a good omelet or some fluffy scrambled eggs? So if you got chickens laying eggs, you've got a product people want. Selling eggs can be a straightforward way to bring in some extra cash. It's about making the most of what you have right in your backyard. Plus, it's pretty satisfying to know you're providing something essential to your community. So, if you're in the egg business even just as a hobby, it could turn into a valuable asset when the economy takes a turn. Number 5. Growing and selling vegetables. If you've got a green thumb and a patch of dirt, you're already on your way to being more self-sufficient, especially when the economy isn't doing so hot. Growing your own veggies isn't just about cutting down your grocery bill. It could be a neat way to make some extra cash or barter. Here's how it works. You start a garden, tend to it, and pretty soon, you've got more tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, you name it, than you can eat. That's when you turn your surplus into an opportunity. You can sell or trade these homegrown goods with neighbors, friends, or at a local farmer's market. It's all about using what you've got to get what you need. Just make sure you've got enough for your family first. Once you've got that covered, everything else is just ripe for the picking. Literally. Number 6. Selling baked goods. Got a flair for whipping up bread, cakes, cookies, muffins, or just about any baked delight? Well, in times of economic trouble, these skills could be your ticket to some extra cash. Here's the deal. Everyone loves a good homemade treat, and during hard times, these little comforts become even more valuable. Imagine this. The economy's down, but there you are, with an oven full of fresh, warm bread or some delicious cookies. It's not just about filling tummies. It's about bringing a bit of joy into people's lives when they need it most. And the best part? There's always someone looking to buy or trade for homemade baked goods. So, if you're comfortable in the kitchen and know your way around a mixing bowl, consider turning those baking skills into a small side business. It's a great way to make some dough, pun intended, and spread a little happiness, one freshly baked bread at a time. Number 7. Renting out rooms in your house. Finding affordable places to live can get tough for a lot of people, especially now that our economy is taking a nosedive. Rent prices will shoot up and suddenly folks are scrambling to find somewhere that won't break the bank. This is where you could step in. If you've got some extra space in your home, think about renting out a room or two. It's a solid way to bring in some extra cash. And let's be honest, it could also be nice to have a little extra company around the house. Just one thing to keep in mind. You want to make sure whoever you're renting to can reliably cover their rent. It's important for your peace of mind and to keep things running smoothly. Number 8. Mending, fixing, clothing. When the economy hits a rough patch, Buying new clothes isn't exactly a top priority for most people. Instead, folks start looking at their wardrobe and thinking, maybe I can make this last a bit longer. That's where mending and fixing clothes come into play. If you've got a talent for sewing or patching things up, you're sitting on a potential gold mine in tough economic times. Clothes, they become way more valuable when people are trying to save every penny. So, those skills you have with a needle and thread, they're suddenly in high demand. Consider setting up a small gig where you help people extend the life of their favorite jeans, that cozy sweater, or even those everyday work shirts. Not only is it a great way to earn some extra cash, but you're also providing a valuable service. Number 9, house cleaning. When the economy goes south, people still want a clean place to live. It's a basic need, no matter what's happening with the economy. So, if you've got a knack for making things sparkle and some time on your hands, offering house cleaning services could be a solid move. And here's a pro tip. If the cost of commercial cleaning supplies starts to bite into your budget, don't sweat it. You can totally whip up your own cleaning solutions. I'm talking about those DIY mixes you can make with stuff you probably already have in your kitchen. Not only are they effective, but they're also way cheaper than what you'd find on store shelves. So, think about it. Offering to clean homes could be a practical way to earn some cash when times get tough. Plus, it's a service that's always in demand, recession or not.